Random House Audio presents From Baghdad with Love, a Marine, the War, and a Dog Named Lava, by LtCol Jay Kopelman with Melinda Roth. Read for you by Michael Kramer. Prologue. So he sent the man out, and at the east of the Garden of Eden he put winged ones and a flaming sword turning every way to keep the way to the tree of life. Genesis chapter 3, verse 24. November 2004. First week of the U.S. invasion of Fallujah, Iraq. In an abandoned house in the northeast section of Fallujah, members of the 1st Battalion 3rd Marines, known as the Lava Dogs, froze when they heard a series of clicks coming from the one remaining room of the compound. Grenade pins? Most of the military deaths in Fallujah during that first week of the U.S. invasion happened inside buildings like this, where insurgents hid in upper rooms and threw grenades down at the Marines as they moved upward. There were a lot of head and face injuries, and while the Lava Dogs considered themselves some of the toughest Marines around, they named themselves out of respect for the jagged pumice they trained on back in Hawaii. Just being a Lava Dog didn't shield you from a grenade's fancy special effects. Being careful did. Being focused did. Having your weapon locked and loaded when you inched around every corner did. Click, click, click. Click. If a grenade did detach your face from your skull, at least you would check out in the GPS coordinate closest to heaven. Iraq was considered by most biblical archaeologists to be the location of the Garden of Eden, God's only hard copy of heaven, his paradise on earth. Not that you'd have adequate excuses prepared once you got there, because lines between good and evil here in the battle zone required more than reading glasses to see. But whether Abraham, Muhammad, or Jesus called your cadence, it's where it officially all started, and where it officially all went bad. Good marketing potential for the region at first, though, because it trademarked the birthplace of Abraham, the Tower of Babel, and the construction of Babylon, in addition to agriculture, writing, the wheel, the zodiac, legal theory, bureaucracy, and urbanization. From the beginning, everyone wanted a piece of the place that went from the Mesopotamians, to the Sumerians, to the Akkadians, to the Empire of Ur, to the Babylonians, to the Assyrians, to the Persians, to the Greeks, to the Arabs, to the Mongols, to the Turks, to the British. None of these were polite handovers either. By the time Saddam Hussein got to the land of milk and honey, it had been captured, pillaged, beaten, and raped by so many cultures over such a long period of time, there was little left except a whole lot of desert covering a whole lot of oil. That, and claims by locals living near the Tigris and Euphrates rivers that the Garden of Eden and its Tree of Life stood in the middle of their very town. They built a wall around the area, constructed the Garden of Eden Hotel, and tourism flourished for a short while. Then the Americans came, and because the folks living in the area supported the newest invasion, Hussein drained all their water. Soon the Tree of Life died, members of the Supreme Council for the Islamic Revolution in Iraq took over the Garden of Eden Hotel, and "Down with Americans" was painted all over the walls of paradise. Click, 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 click. Maybe timed explosives. If this country was paradise, then the Marines weren't taking any bets on hell. Outside the building they searched, gunships prowled the skies looking for hiding insurgents as pockmarked Humvees patrolled what was left of the streets. Every driving car in the city was targeted because of bomb risks. Every loose wire was suspect. Every building was searched, and jihad, jihad, jihad plastered every wall. Throughout the first days of the invasion of Fallujah, the Marines discovered weapons caches, suicide vests, and large amounts of heroin, speed, and cocaine, apparently used to bolster suicide bombers' courage. They found dead bodies of fighters from Chechnya, Syria, Libya, Jordan, Afghanistan, and Saudi Arabia. They walked into human slaughterhouses with hooks hanging from the ceilings, black masks, knives, bloody straw mats, and videos of beheadings. They freed emaciated prisoners shackled and insane with fear. Fallujah, near the center of where it all began, was now a city cordoned off from the rest of the world, inhabited only by invisible snipers and stray dogs feasting on the dead. Click, snuffle, snuffle, click. The Lava Dogs tightened their jaws and clenched their weapons as they ran through the rules in their heads. Cover danger areas, stay low, move stealthily, be prepared to adapt and eliminate threats. Snuffle. Click, click, click. Snuffle, snuffle. An insurgent strapping a bomb to his chest. They should have prepped the room first with a grenade, tossed it in and just let it do all the dirty work. Instead, for reasons still obscured by war and fear and things just destined to be, they backed up to the walls on either side of the doorway and positioned their weapons to fire. Then they thrust their rifles around the corner, squared off, and zeroed in on the clicks as their target rushed to the other side of the room. "Holy shit!" The puppy turned at the sound of their voices and stared at them. "What the hell?" He cocked his head, trying to interpret their intent rather than their words. "You gotta be kidding." Then he yipped, wagged his tail, and clicked his toenails on the floor as he pranced up and down in place, happy it seemed someone had found him at last. Part 1. In toil you shall eat of it all the days of your life. Genesis chapter 3, verse 17. Chapter 1. November 2004, Fallujah. I don't remember exactly when I got to the house that served as our command post in the northwest sector of Fallujah, and I don't remember exactly how I got there. It was a couple of days after the lava dogs arrived and took over the compound, I do know that much, and I remember that after 4 days of dodging sniper fire, sleeping on the ground, and patrolling Fallujah with wide-eyed Iraqi soldiers in training, who shot at anything that moved, including their own boots, I walked up to the building with a sense of having escaped an abstract rendition of the wrong hereafter. I remember being exhausted, the tiredness weighing more heavily on me than the 60-pound rucksack I lugged around, and as I walked through the front door and shrugged what I could off my back, all I could think about was sleep. That's when I saw lava for the first time. Only it's not as if I walked in and saw a chubby puppy cuddled up on a blanket, undefiled by the world like an overstuffed lamb. There were no squeaky toys, no baby yips, no eyes looking up at me with an artless blue-gray innocence. Instead, a sudden flash of something rolls toward me out of nowhere, shooting so much adrenaline into my wiring that I jump back and slam into a wall. A ball of fur not much bigger than a grenade skids across the floor, screeches to a halt at my boots, and then whirls in circles around me with the torque of a wind-up toy. It scares me, right? Like I'm tired and wired, and anything quick coming at me jerked at my nerves, so I peel back off the wall and reach for my rifle even though I can see it's only a puppy. Now, before you get all out of whack about me aiming a weapon at cute baby mammals, keep in mind that I just walked in from the streets. Out there, things were spooky, like a plague or a flood, or dust from an atomic bomb had just rolled through. Most of the city fled before the U.S.-led attack, and the quiet rang so loud after the bombardment, even wind-blown newspapers sent your nerves screaming for solid cover. The day before the offensive started, we dropped leaflets over the city, warning the few remaining citizens that we were on our way in, but insurgents inside spit back that they had hundreds of car bombs rigged, booby traps set, and suicide bombers with jittery fingers waiting to go. They'd already dug trenches in the city's cemeteries for the expected martyrs. In the days prior to our march into the city, our warplanes pounded Fallujah with cannon fire, rockets, and bombs. Because the skies were so crowded, attack jets had only a 3-minute window to unload their cargo and clear out before another jet swooped in. Hundreds and hundreds of pounds of 105mm shells, 25mm rounds, and 40mm rounds blasted into Fallujah that night with the impact of meteors from several galaxies away. The aerial bombardment was so spectacular, I, along with 10,000 other Marines waiting to advance on the outskirts of the city, doubted anyone inside would live through it. But plenty managed, and now that we were here, sniper fire came at us from nowhere like the screams from ghosts. So, when this unexpected thing, this puppy, comes barreling toward me in this unexpected place, I reach for my gun. I must have yelled or something because at the sound of my voice the puppy looks up at me, raises his tail, and starts growling this baby dog version of, "I am about to kick your ass." The fur gets all puffy around his neck like he's trying to make himself look big, and then he lets loose these weenie war cries, "Roo, roo, roo, roo," as he bounces up and down on stiff legs.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?